Hey everyone! Thank you for being so patient waiting for this video to appear in your feed. The truth is I actually filmed it twice, and twice I missed a critical step, which we are not going to miss in this one because third time's a charm, right? Anyway, I am going to show you how to make this awesome look in polymer clay. Okay, it looks like stone, the strata of rock. Very natural look. You can use any color combination that you want, but I actually love to use these natural looking browns and grays because they make everything look like it was made from stone. And I have been wearing these earrings for a while now, and quite often people will ask me, where do you buy those? What is that made out of? And I have to tell them it's made of clay, and I made them. So yeah, I'm gonna show you how to do it. Okay. What you're gonna need is you're gonna want some parchment paper that is shaped like your baking tray. My baking tray is a round pizza pan tray that I use just for baking clay on. So that's what this parchment paper is shaped like. Using parchment paper underneath your clay is gonna keep the bottom nice and smooth without sticking, and it kind of helps it not come out inconsistent. Sometimes with foil or other bottom surfaces, you end up with like shiny parts and bumpy parts, but I find that the parchment paper really gives you the best finish. And you're gonna want to put together a combination of colors that reminds you of some natural stone with one big base color. You know, I'm not really the measuring person. I'm sure if someone out there is better at measuring, they could tell you exactly how much clay to use, but I'm the artsy fartsy person. I'm not the measuring person. So I just take whatever mud clay I have. Oh, and side note, there's gonna be dog hair and everything. One of my dogs is shedding like it's going out of style, and there is literally dog hair in everything I do. So if you stop and see me do what I just did and pick something out of the clay, it's dog hair. He's lucky that he's cute and I love him. Anyway, so you're gonna wanna put together your color combination, and I went ahead and pre-rolled these into flat chunks. I didn't want you guys to sit around and get bored watching me roll clay, but I decided to leave one chunk out just like I would cut it off the block, and I'm gonna roll that out so you can see what I start with. I basically just take a chunk of the clay. Oh my God, how many more times am I gonna say chunk, right? I'm gonna roll it out like this with my hand, and then I'm gonna put it through my clay machine. I've got a thickness of 9, which is about as thick as my machine goes. And I'm just gonna flatten it out. You're gonna wanna put it in like this, okay? Not like this, vertical. Put it in vertical to make a long, thin piece. And the most important thing that you need to know about putting together these color combinations is you need to have white, all right? White is the most important color in this set. You want to have white, you want to have stone-like colors. I always like to use something with a little bit of glitter in it because I love a little bit of flash, all right? Like look right here. I don't know if you can see this. You see that sparkle? Oh, that looks amazing. When you're outside walking in the sun, they start to shine and it catches the sunlight, all the little glitter pieces. I love it. Look at this guy. Look how much glitter is in this. But anyway, so you're gonna use stone-like colors, and you're gonna make sure that you have white and that you have some clear, okay? The clear is not as important as the white. Now, what the white does is it allows the other colors to really show. Remember how I told you that I filmed this video already, but I messed up? Well, my mistake was not using white. And it actually looks better on camera than it does in real life. But what happens is without the white, you lose a lot of the really cool texture and 3D effect. Of course, I didn't lose the damn dog hair. There it is. Oh my God. I should name my company Dog Hair, literally. Dog hair earrings, dog hair jewelry. So it's not that it looks bad, right? These still look kind of cool. I mean, I could turn them into something. Someone will buy it, right? There's a market for everything. But they don't have the same look as this, okay? And that's because that white really allows the textures that you're going to create to show forth, okay? So you want to make sure that you have white, unless you're going for this. If you love this, do you, okay? And you know what, it actually looks better on camera than it does in real life. But yeah, you can see the white really just brings out all the colors. And the clear chunks We're not gonna turn these into these flat pieces here, okay? You're gonna leave your clear like this, just like big chunks, all right? So let's get started. All right, I'm gonna zoom in. Ooh, okay. What did people do before iPhones? Do you have to have a big ass camera? I mean, I'm pretending like I'm not old enough to know. I totally am. All right, guys, so this is my base layer, and it's a little crumbly because I'm a terrible artist and I left this sitting out all night. So I'm just gonna run this through my clay machine one more time to get some of the crumbles out. I'm gonna fold it up. I know, I break all the clay rules. I probably shouldn't. As you can tell, it was just the 4th of July. You like my nails? I think it looks like the French flag. Okay, let's roll this through. And I ended up with a big patch here. Looks like an island. Looks like one of those vacation spots. All right, did not intend to do that. Let's get this in here. So remember, this is my base layer, and by base layer I mean it's like the underlying color that's going to be beneath everything, where we're going to put all these cool layers on top of. So it really should match everything else that you have. Okay, so right here my base layer was gray, and then we ended up putting white, lighter gray, and clear on top. So I'm going with some browns. Oh my, look at the amount of dog hair in this right here. This is crazy. All right, I'm not even gonna point it out anymore. I just, like, personally, it bothers me, but I'll stop saying it. All right, let's run this through one more time. Get it nice and flat. Okay, all right, doesn't have to be perfect. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our cutting tool, okay, whatever you use to cut your clay. Let me zoom out a bit so you guys can see everything. We're gonna take our cutting tool, and we are gonna start to layer our colors in the order that we want them to appear, okay? It's all gonna get a little mixed up, but this is like a loose guiding of the process, okay? I love going darkest to lightest and then back. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this nice dark gray, and I'm gonna put it right here on top of this brown. Let's go ahead and cut that to make it about the same. And we're working very loose here, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. It's supposed to be sloppy. It's nature. Nature's not perfect. She's sloppy, okay? A little bit. All right, then I'm gonna go with this darker brown, which I really, really love. Then I'm gonna go with this beautiful, beautiful sparkly brown, okay? And then I've got this shimmery copper. And then I'm gonna go ahead and throw some white in there, right here, okay? And then I'm gonna do some of this gold, like that. And then let's do, ooh, look at this saucy little peach here. Let's throw some of that in there. I'm just gonna fold it up and get it a little bit flatter right now. Okay. There we go, like that. And then I think I'm gonna do another layer of white. Be generous with your white, because trust me, it makes a difference. Okay, now we've got this really unkempt looking thing here. And what we're gonna do is we are going to take our cutting tool again, and we're gonna cut down. Don't cut yourself, please don't cut yourself. Let's cut this off, right there. We're basically just cleaning this up a bit. All right, now that we've got a smooth edge here, basically we are gonna cut strips of this, okay? And you wanna make them relatively thin, because this is what we're gonna use to make our pattern, okay? And we're gonna lay it on top of our base part here. So let's go like this. And remember, I did not use any clear, which you could use clear right here, but that's just not my method. All right. Ah, look what happened. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Because it's still gonna be cool. It can be kind of sloppy. It's all right. All right, let's go like this. Cutting again. Ooh, look, that is so pretty. My cutter has been through a lot of abuse, so it doesn't really cut right on the first try. All right, I don't know if you guys can see that, but look how beautiful that is. Oh my God, that's beautiful. I love it. I really love this combination. Okay, Let's try to cut this one more time, and it's okay if it's not perfect. Like I said, I don't work perfectly. I'm a little sloppy, but that's okay. It works. We're artists. That's what we do. That's how we roll. Sometimes you gotta let the clay or the paint or the whatever do the talking. You just guide it. Let it do what it wants. If it wants to be a little uneven, that's fine. All right, this piece is really beautiful, but I think it's a little thick. So I'm gonna cut this a little bit more. All right. I managed to do that without cutting my thumb off. Sweet. Okay, so now we've got our lines, okay? And we're gonna go over here to our base, okay? And we are going to start to lay this on top of our base, okay? Anything that comes off, you can just cut it. You can do something like this, right? You don't have to just go straight across, because nature, like I said, she be messy. She's not perfect. Things don't always go in one direction. Here we go. Okay. And now, remember that clear I told you to have around? We're gonna take the clear. You're gonna pick the dog hair out. I said I wouldn't mention it again. I lied, I did. And then you're gonna take your knife or your cutter. You're gonna cut chunks like this. This actually reminds me of like really thick Parmesan cheese. I love cheese more than anything in the world. I actually got interviewed for an art magazine like 3 decades ago, really long time ago. And, you know, they were asking me all these big artistic questions, and they said, what's one of your favorite things on the planet? And I think they were expecting me to say something really artsy, like waterfalls or the universe. I said cheese, and I meant it. It is my favorite. What is better than cheese? Back me up, people. Cheese is I don't know. It's better than the universe. Okay, so we're gonna take our Parmesan cheese and we're gonna sprinkle it on. Okay. Look at that. This is gonna be awesome, I promise you. You're gonna drop it into your roller here and it's gonna be life-changing. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna clean this up a little bit. I'm just gonna cut that off. And again, this is messy. It doesn't make any sense, but who gives a crap? So we're gonna go over to our roller, set it on the thickest setting, and drop this puppy through. And I'm gonna go ahead and move my camera here so you can see it on my phone. All right, here we go. Let's put it in, let's see what happens. I mean, to an extent, I know what's gonna happen, but you never really know. I think that's what I like about art. It's unpredictable. Woo, look at that. Oh my God. You guys, I love it. It looks awesome. Okay, we're not done though, obviously. I mean, this is close to where we're going, but we're not there yet. So let's go ahead and you can look for spots where colors are missing and add some of that from your strips. Okay. Let's see, I'm actually gonna roll this strip through on its own because I want to stretch it out a bit. And I'm gonna put it right there. Okay. And now, okay, you have 2 options here. You can actually take some more mud clay and put it on the back to make a different back. But I find that when I'm working with jewelry that I plan on selling, I want the back to match the front. It's got to match the front. You could also, you know, set this up in a way where it twists, where your front and the back twists and move around. I don't have that skill set, but I'm gonna look into that because look how pretty the back is. So I like to make sure that the back looks just as good as the front. It also saves you some time in the end because you don't have to sit around finishing the back, okay? So we're gonna now fold this, okay? Fold it in half and look for those spots where maybe you want a little bit more color. We can drop some more Parmesan cheese in there. Is anyone gonna go eat cheese after this? Because maybe I'll call my son or daughter to bring me some cheese while I'm making this video. Let's drop some more cheese in there. And just to give you guys a visual of what the cheese does. Okay, look, you see that? That right there? That's what it ends up looking like, okay, when it's in there. Here's one of the pieces without the white. Look right there, you see it? It just looks more natural. You can always omit this step, but to me, it really adds a beautiful element. And sometimes if you roll hard enough, you end up with this super cool look right here. This is like my favorite earring ever. I could wear it just by itself, hanging off my nose, my ear, whatever. I just like it so much because of that happy little accident, like Bob Ross would say. Okay, let's keep filling up our spaces here. There we go. Look at the saucy little peach color. Look at that. Oh, it's adding so much. Okay. This is a little thick, so I'm just gonna cut this. Say a prayer that I don't cut my finger off. I did not. Yay! Hooray for not cutting our fingers. Okay. Now, we're still using the thickest setting, okay, guys? I don't want you to use your thin setting at this point. Probably not at all, actually, for this. We're just gonna let these things roll. One more time on the thickest setting. Oh, I'm really trying not to film my feet because they're very ugly and I don't want to scare you. All right, here we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Ooh, oh my God, I love it. Look, you guys, look what's happening here. Beautiful. Let's see the back. Awesome, awesome. Beautiful. Okay. So my clay is getting really crumbly here. So we're gonna do some repairs, okay? One of the things I love about working with art is that it's pretty fixable. I mean, you can paint over stuff, you can fix stuff, not all the time. Hello, watercolors. Watercolors is pretty unforgiving. But for the most part with art, you can repair things before the final product goes out. So we're gonna go ahead and fix up some of those holes. Let's do that. There we go. I'm gonna clean this up a bit. Okay. All right, ready? Let's go in again. Make sure you grab it too when it comes out and guide it through like I'm doing. Okay. Now we are going to, my setting was at a 9. We're going to bring it to a 7. Okay. We're going to smush this guy up a little bit more. Not too much. Just a little bit. Because this is really, really pretty. I actually don't want to lose all this, but we need more. We need a little bit more in this because it's getting a little bit more clay because it's getting very thin. So let's fold it one more time. And you know what? Let's do an 8. Yeah, not a 9. Let's do an 8. Okay. Whoops, it decided to come out this way. All right. Whoa, look what happened. Who could have predicted that? Look at this long streak going through everything. Look at that gold and that silver. Oh, it's beautiful. Let's see what's happening on the back. Oh my God, look at how those colors have merged together. They look amazing. Love it. Okay, so now we are ready to cut. Now, if you want, you can add another back to this. You can fold it in half again and end up with a bit thicker earrings, or whatever it is that you're making. But for me, because I'm gonna end up covering these with UV resin, which makes them really thick and it makes them really strong, I'm gonna stop right here. I'm not gonna go any thicker, but just so you know, that is totally an option. And art is all about options, so you can do whatever you want. All right, I'm gonna just clean up my edge here really quick. Let's clean up this edge. Get out of here. And don't get rid of that, okay? We're gonna use it in a minute. You'll see. We don't waste anything. There you go. Let's get rid of that. By get rid of, I mean safely put in a little pile. I hope you guys have an art desk. Clay is really messy. I actually got this desk at the thrift store for $10, which is great because I really abuse it. Okay, this is my favorite part. I mean, it's all fun, but nothing is better than this part because I feel like this is where we're really putting our design skills into play. So we're gonna take some saran wrap, okay? We're gonna lay it over our clay. This guy's a little sticky because I was using it earlier. I like to reuse things. I don't know. I hate the amount of garbage I make. I feel like I make a lot of garbage, so I'm trying to make less garbage all the time, and still very garbagey or trashy, whatever. Okay, we're gonna take our molds, okay? Let's make sure you guys can see. We're gonna take our molds and we are gonna start to cut out our shapes. Oh, and by the way, the saran wrap on top of the clay actually gives you the smooth edge. See how this is nice and smooth? So, dog hair alert. I need like a dog hair alert. So it's gonna give you a really smooth edge when you pull your mold off, okay? All right. I have been really feeling like making things with moons and hearts, so I'm gonna focus on moons and hearts. I'll do a couple of these drops because that's what I showed you in the video, or in the beginning of the video, but I really wanna make a lot of moons and hearts. You know, when you just get into like a mode. Ooh, hold on guys, sorry. My camera got a little blurry there. Come on. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so you want to be really sure of where you cut your things out, and I like to just move my molds around and see what's going to look the best. Where are the coolest spots? We got a little bit of that Parmesan cheese here in the corner, and I really want to make sure I have that in one of my pieces, but this moon is too big, so I'm going to go with this little guy. And I'm gonna press down as hard as I can. If you have a can or you're just like Hulk strong, you can you know, really get into that. But I like to just use this roller here, roll over it, just to really make sure it gets cut out. I mean, it's gonna look uncomfortable. Look at how much I cut that out, but that's what you want. We want it to almost bubble up a little bit because that's gonna give us that smooth, rounded edge, okay? Now, if you're making earrings, you're going to want to make two, and you want to think about the placement of your molds, right? Because if I make two earrings, then they're like this, they're both going to be facing this way. So I'm going to turn this one this way, okay? And again, maybe you're not making earrings, maybe you are, but I just wanted to point that out. I am totally guilty of making things, making molds for earrings, making pieces for earrings that were both facing the same direction, and then I couldn't use them. All right. That. What do we got? Oh my god, it's awesome. I love the gray in there. I hope you guys can see it the way I'm seeing it. It just looks so cool. All right, now I'm gonna do a heart because I've been feeling hearts lately. This I'm gonna make into a pendant, and I think I'm gonna go this way. Yeah, let's go this way. There we go. And you know what? I'm going to do another one because I want to do a matching one for my daughter. She probably won't wear it, but I'll make it anyway. There we go. All right. Let's do a big moon. Yeah. All right. Oh, look, the cheese is over there in the corner. Could have done more to get some of that, but I also have smaller molds I might use, or when we're done cutting these out, we're gonna fold it in half and see what else we can get out of it, okay? So don't fret. Let's do this big old moon here. Ooh, that one got a little messy. You gotta be careful. Edge got a little weird, but that's okay. We can fix it later. And let's do, what can we put in? Let's do some of these drops, okay, that I showed you in the beginning. These are great shapes. They just look so good for everything, for earrings, for jewelry. Okay, we got some amazing Parmesan cheese happening right here. Let's do this. You want to be careful that you don't get too close to the edge. Or if you do get close, make sure that you actually have enough clay there. Thankfully I do right here, but sometimes you don't. Okay, and then this one, oh shit, this is gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight. you know what? If I do this right here, it's not going to match this piece, right? So I might want to move that. Actually, hold up. All right, guys. I went and grabbed some of my tiny molds because I don't want to waste a good clay layout. So I've got some little triangles here. Let's go ahead and try to get some of this Parmesan cheese. Okay, there we go. All right, there's something there. There's something there. And the cool thing that you guys have to remember is once we bake this, it's gonna look totally different. It's honestly not even gonna look the same. Okay, there we go. I mean, it'll look a little bit the same, but it's gonna be very different. Look at this. This is amazing right here. All right, let's get this guy. Okay, now, hold up. I think this one wants a little more love, so I'm gonna give it to you. There you go. This is why you need to have an art desk, because you will ruin whatever table you're using doing this. Okay, now let's lift this off ever so gently, ever so gently. Oh yeah, awesome. Okay, and now remember we've been doing this on our parchment paper, which is the exact same thing we're gonna use to bake on. We're gonna lift everything up like this. And if you press down hard enough, everything should just come right off, or the, you know, extra pieces should come right off. What do you call this? The scrap should come right out. Woo! All right, okay. I didn't follow my own rule, and this guy came too close to the edge. So let's get this off. There we go. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Dog hair break, dog hair break, dog hair break. Oh my God, this has like 10 hairs in it. Jesus. Hope I don't sell that to someone who's allergic to dogs. Like, seriously. Okay, so let's cut this right here. Now, the reason why I say to do this on the parchment paper that you're gonna use to bake is that you can literally lift this whole thing up and put it right in the oven. I, however, am gonna lift these up anyway because I like to put these little, I can't think of the name of this now. I'm sorry guys, it's been a week. I'm gonna put these inside so that I can create a hanging mechanism for my earrings. Okay, I'm gonna put these inside, and you can get these on Amazon. I'll probably remember the name in a couple minutes here, but you can get these on Amazon, or you can get them at Michael's. If you weren't going to put these in, you could bake this just as is. You'll have a nice flat piece, and then you can drill holes later, or however you like to do it. Okay. All right. So let's keep going. Get this on top. Now remember, we have this earring here, this white one. It's got a lot of white in it. It's stripes. So let's try to get something similar so we can get a matching set. There we go. Same thing with this little guy. Let's see, that kind of had some brown in it. God, I'm so loving this glitter. It looks really cool. All right, we have a matching set for everything here. This moon, I was gonna make it a pendant, but you know what? Let's go ahead and make another one because it can be 2 pendants, or it can be big earrings. It can be whatever we want. The world's your oyster. Okay, and then, you know what? Let's do a smaller moon. I mean, I love moons, but geez. All right, here we go. I think people love moon shapes too. They seem to sell a lot. Okay. Oh, totally should have said this at the beginning, but I like to tape my parchment paper down so that it doesn't move while I'm doing this. Yeah, should have said that at the beginning. Sorry guys, I didn't say that. Or maybe I did and I forgot that I said it. It's possible. I'm a little spacey, like most artists are. So I just wanted to point that out. Okay. Now let's do some small drops. That looks really great right there. Oh, I love it. Love it. It looks really good, guys. I hope that yours are looking as good as this. Okay, let's get these bad boys off. I'm not really gonna do anything here because we just have a big plain chunk of clay and it's boring. I mean, no shade thrown to solids, but they're not for me. Okay, now let's lift this off. Sweet. Oh my God, guys, I love it. Love it. Looks so good. All right, so now we are gonna take our extras, okay? We're gonna fold them all into a big pile like this. And we're gonna run it through our clay machine one more time just to see what happens. Look, sometimes magic happens, sometimes mud happens, but you never know until you try. So let's give it a try. I'm gonna roll it through. Woo, that's an arm workout. And, oh, let's see. Yeah, actually it looks really cool, but it's very chunky. So let's go ahead and fold it. And by chunky, I meant like spacey, like it has a lot of spaces. And we don't want that. We want a nice smooth finish. So let's, my clay machine is like, stop abusing me. Oh guys, look at that. That looks awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead, you've seen me do this a bunch of times. I'm gonna go ahead and speed this next part up because I don't wanna bore you by doing the same thing over and over again. So I'm gonna, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. Let me go ahead and cut this out and we'll speed this next part up. All right, guys, now we are ready to bake. Yay! If you are not gonna put these little pins into your pieces. If you're gonna drill holes afterwards, then you can go ahead and bake these and then drill your holes afterwards with a Dremel tool. Or some people like to actually make the holes in the clay with a tool, okay? And so I'm gonna show you the method that I use, and then I'll show you how you can make a hole with one of these guys. You can get this tool at Michael's. This is just a little drill hole. All right, so some of them I'll use the pin, and for some of them I'll make holes. All right, so let's see. I actually destroyed this other guy, the other one of these. Oh my God, look, but I made an extra. How did that work out? Cool, huh? Okay, so when we're making our hole, I think the best thing to do is to make a little test hole first. So just make a little mark that only you will know is there, and then stand back and look at it and say, yeah, that's where I want it. And then very gently go like this, twisting around. This is probably the easiest way to make a hole in your stuff. But you are gonna get a little bump right here, which may or may not bother you. Okay. Then we're gonna try to put it in the exact same spot on this side. Let's see. If you already know how to make holes and do everything else, you can pretty much fast forward this whole part. Ah, look at that. Okay. Yeah, so these two have holes in them. Now, sometimes when I make my earrings or my pieces, I like to have things hanging from the bottom. And so I may make some holes just to have things hanging from the bottom. So, but I prefer to do that with a Dremel tool. So I'm not gonna use this anymore because this is not my preferred method. I'm gonna go ahead and switch to these. All right, and so what we're gonna do, you guys, this is a pain in the ass. This is not easy. I don't like doing it, but I find that the finished look is my favorite of all the looks. Okay, so you're gonna need some of this Sculpey Bakeable Medium. You can get this at Michael's. You can get it on Amazon. Of course, what can't you get on Amazon? And this is gonna add an extra layer of strength, okay? So let's just put a little bit of this somewhere on a piece of paper. I'm just gonna put a little bit in a corner here, okay? Just a little bit, because we do not need a lot of this. And then you're about to see why this is such a pain in the ass. You're gonna grab your pin. Let me zoom in here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. And you're gonna very gently pick up your piece. If you have tools, you can use tools. That'll make it a little bit easier. Okay. And then you're going to dip this in your bakeable medium. Not too much, just a little bit. And then you're gonna make sure that you are holding the clay directly in between your fingers. There's a piece of dog hair, dog hair, dog hair. Okay, I'm gonna ignore it. And then you're gonna very carefully get this through in the spot that you want it. I find that it helps to go back and forth. I like having my fingers on both sides because I can feel if I'm going too much to one side or the other. And then it's really easy. Look, it's starting to poke through right here. If that happens, just pull out quickly and then reposition it. There you go. Okay. Get the dog hair out. Get out. Oh my God. I'm gonna shave my dog bald so he stops shedding, seriously. Okay, let's make sure that we push this in. Okay, don't be afraid to use your tools because fingers are big and fingers are oily. Use your tool, push it in there. If you want, you can take your roller and very gently flatten this out a little bit if it lost some of its shape while you were working with it. Clay also gets really soft the more we work with it, so you can leave everything out for a couple hours and then come back to it and it will have dried a little bit. It won't, obviously it won't air dry, but it'll become a little bit firmer and a little bit easier to work with, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video now and then do the rest on fast forward so you guys don't have to watch me do it all, and I'll probably screw up a bunch of times, but hey, it's art. All right, guys. To be honest, that was my least favorite part of doing this. I actually hate doing that. I hate putting those things in. I messed up a bunch of them. So sad, so sad, so sad. Oh, actually, I forgot this guy. This one's too messed up, so I'm not going to use it. The partner to this got ruined, which is devastating. You know what? You know what, guys? How about we make a necklace out of it? Because I just love the way that piece came out. I don't know if you guys saw when I sped this up, but I cut some of these because they're too long. So I just cut them down a little bit. Yeah, look at that. I don't want to miss out on that. Oh my God, and the back is totally different. Yeah, we can make some awesome jewelry out of this. Okay, so let's do that. Bada bing. Whoa, suddenly turned into an Italian mobster. Bada bing, bada bang. All right. Let's do one more here. Okay, so now we are gonna bake these bad boys in the oven. All right, and I like to do 275. Oh, that's not gonna work. I like to do 275 for about an hour and 20 minutes. At an hour, I check them and I make sure that they're not burning, but that's usually what I like to do. I am in Colorado. We have an altitude thing going on. I know that affects things. So if I were you, I would check them at 45 minutes and then check them at an hour and then check them at an hour and 20 minutes. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna create like a little oven. Let's see, I gave up on these guys. Oh, sorry, one last thing, guys. Before you put these in the oven, you can do some cleanup. So if there are some edges that need to be tidied up, you can go ahead and do that now. You can cut off any pieces. I actually prefer to do sanding because I'm a little clumsy and I have been known to really destroy things when I'm trying to fix them. So I would rather just, you know, sand this down after it's been baked. So that's what I'm gonna do. But for you, if you're better at that, then you can go ahead and do that now. Let's make sure that all of our little pins here are pushed in correctly. This guy's almost coming out. Okay, there we go. I'm actually going to repair this. Look, this is way too long. It came out the other side. Oh my God, madness. Why did I do that? Let's fix that really quick. No, art is about making mistakes. Actually, life is about making mistakes. Boom, truth bomb. Okay. Let's get that guy in there. There we go. Oh, these are going to be so cute. I usually wear really big obnoxious earrings. Who would have guessed? But a lot of people like these tiny little ones, so I do make a lot of them. Go ahead and clean that up. Okay. At this point, you want to grab your tray. I'm gonna grab mine. Voila. And it's gonna go like that. Slide everything right in. Okay. And you can check to make sure that your parchment paper isn't bubbling up in some areas. If it's bubbling up and the clay looks like it's gonna come out bumpy, you can take your roller and very gently smooth it out a bit. Just smooth out any bumps, any imperfections. There we go. Okay. And again, remember, I prefer to sand my pieces when they come out of the oven. I don't like to, you know, clean this up right now. It doesn't work for me. All right, and now we're gonna cover this with aluminum foil. Remember I told you we're gonna create a little oven. Take some aluminum foil, all right? And you're gonna cover this entire thing, which my piece is not big enough, hold on. All right. So we're gonna cover this to create like a little oven, and it's gonna keep your clay from getting too burned on the top, okay? So this is what I like to do. This actually works really well, and you can just use one giant piece of paper. I'm just, again, trying to be mindful of being too wasteful, so I'm reusing some paper here. So I've got mine in chunks. All right. Let's throw it in the oven. Say a prayer. Let's hope it comes out good. Hey everyone, guess what just came out of the oven? It's not muffins, it's my jewelry. So I absolutely love how everything came out. Now I went ahead and checked everything after 1 hour. I actually checked at 45 minutes and then I checked at an hour, and they still had a lot of the original coloring, and then I decided to just let them go a little bit longer, just a wee bit longer, like 20 minutes more. And I cranked up my temperature from 275, which will stabilize it, to 300. And when you do that, you get a pop in color. Your colors are gonna look different, but that was intentional. I actually love the way they came out. Look at that. That looks like stone. It's a really, really neat look. And when we cover it with the UV stuff, whatever that's called, the UV resin sealer, it'll really solidify the look, right? So you can definitely stop right here. A lot of people actually sell their jewelry like this. They don't seal it with anything. Polymer clay looks especially beautiful on its own, but I'm a perfectionist and I like sealing things, and I just like the way it looks. So I'm going to seal all of these. But first I need to smooth out my edges because we have some imperfect parts and some things that are a little sloppy looking. Normally I would go outside and I would use my Dremel tool to sand down the edges. It's fast, it's efficient, it works really well, but it's literally hailing. I'm in Colorado and it is hailing outside and it's been raining, which is really weird for us. So I don't want to go sit outside, and I only use my Dremel outside because I don't want to have all that dust floating around. So anyway, long story short, I am going to wet sand all of my pieces. I've got a 400 grit and a 1000 grit here. I might grab some other pieces of sandpaper that are in between these two, but I like to use something that's very fine so it doesn't leave, you know, the scratch marks. So wet sanding is really awesome. I love doing it. It's actually, I don't know, something about it is really relaxing. It's because you don't have to worry about flecks of things flying all over the place, right? So you can just kind of tune out. You can just get in there, start to scratch, start to sand everything down, and you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and speed up the rest of this video because there's no need for you guys to watch me do this. It's pretty self-explanatory. Whatever you don't like, sand it off. If you like it, leave it on. Oh, one thing that I wanted to show you guys before I go ahead and move on to the next step is what happens when you don't add white to your clay. So this is a set that I didn't add white to, and it actually doesn't look that bad at all. So this is probably a terrible example, but it does muddy the colors a bit. Now I did use a lot of shiny stuff. You know, I did use a lot of clay that has that built-in shine to it, so these look really good. But if you don't have any white in there and you don't have any shine, it's going to be really hard to see the beautiful colors when your piece is completed. That's why I always like to have a little bit of white in everything that I do, because it really helps the colors come out. See this? If I didn't have the white in here, this whole thing might have gotten a little muddy. Thankfully I had it in there, so I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, just so you guys know that, yeah, it's pretty important to have the white in there. It helps everything show. All right, guys, went ahead and sanded all of my pieces. I'm going to now let them fully dry. I'm gonna let them dry overnight. Also, it's storming outside and it probably is gonna hail like I mentioned earlier, so I can't really apply my UV coating. If you are done at this point and you are absolutely in love with what you've done, then you can stop here. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to seal them. But if you want to seal them, hang on for a little bit longer and I will show you how we apply the UV resin coating. And just so you can see what that looks like, it adds a gloss and a shine. It's not always smooth. You can see right here I messed up. Boo! But look at this one. This one's a lot better. And when you add this thick coating, it not only protects your piece for life, well, I don't know if for life, but it protects it for a long time. It really adds to the durability and the completed look. But you can see here, this guy, I obviously have to use my Dremel tool outside, so that's a bad example. But you can see they still look really beautiful without that final UV resin coating. I'm going to add it, but you can stop right here if you are happy with what you have. You can also apply a different type of sealer if you want. I prefer to use UV resin coating. It's a huge pain in the ass. Do not expect to like it, but it really looks beautiful when it's done. Hey guys, what's going on? We are now going to complete the final step for preparing our necklace or earring pendants in this super cool rock strata style. So everything has been sanded, everything has now dried off, It's exactly how I want it. You may notice that my pieces are not perfect. There are some bumps here and there, but I like that because nature is not perfect and art is not perfect either. So I don't care. I like to leave those little inconsistencies, woo, words, because they just really add to the handmade feel of things. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn everything over and we are going to seal the backside first. We do that because it's going to create a little lip. So once the backside seals, there's going to be a little lip here, and then we're going to go over the front side with sealer, which is going to lip over the other lip. I know that's a pretty weird way of saying it, but you'll know what I mean when you do it. So let's go ahead and turn everything over. And then we're going to get our UV sealer out, and I will show you that in a minute. UV resin, it's UV resin actually, I'm calling it sealer, but it's UV resin. It's highly toxic. It's very dangerous if you're not using it carefully. You definitely want to make sure you're using gloves. See, I've got my gloves here. Looks like I'm about to cook crystal meth. Just kidding, sorry. I watched a lot of Breaking Bad last year. So we're gonna put our gloves on, not for cooking crystal, for sealing our artwork with resin. Take my resin out. I actually keep it wrapped up in a bag. Normally I would wear a mask while doing this, but because I want to talk to you guys, I'm gonna keep my mask off. It's okay. It's just once. Lord knows I did way more toxic things when I was in high school. So here is the resin right here. Okay. I got this one on Amazon. I am actually really, really happy with the results. It dries fast. It looks beautiful. It's a really, really wonderful product. So I'm going to take a paintbrush and I'm going to apply it to the backs of these. And I'm going to be very, very careful that I don't get any on my baking tray because you do not want to put anything with resin into your oven. I don't know what'll happen, but it's not going to be good. Let's space these out a little bit more. There we go. So I've got that same parchment paper, which I have really put to good use. I'm now using for my resin painting. Also, I did check the weather. It's a beautiful sunny day today. I already looked outside and it needs to be sunny for the resin to properly dry up. It takes about 15 minutes per side. So I opened up my jar here. Now some people like to squirt it on or squirt a pile on. Hold on one second. Ooh, it's so sticky. That's why you always want to make sure you're wearing gloves. And be careful with whatever you touch. Okay, so I was saying I like to squirt it on and then smooth it over with a paintbrush if I need to. So I'm going to go ahead and squirt a little bit on here. Now, because this is the back side, I don't want to waste all of my resin creating this really thick, beautiful layer because this stuff is expensive and I don't really like working with it and I don't like buying it again. So I'm just going to do a thin layer on the back. When we turn over to the front, we will do more of a pour effect, which is probably what you've seen with resin. And see, with the paintbrush, I can kind of smooth it out. And then I try to paint on the sides. Okay, the sides, it's really important that you get the sides because it really adds to that completed look, right? It helps it look like the whole thing is stone. Now, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but as soon as I cover this with resin, everything just popped. And we're looking at the back of one of these pieces. The shimmer is sticking out. You can really see the layers. I mean, the whole thing looks so beautiful. So I'm going to speed up the rest of this video because you really don't need to see me paint every single one of these in real time. If I have anything to explain, I'll let you know, but I'm going to keep going. Oh, sorry. One more thing I forgot to mention. I like to use this little tool here to hold down my piece so I can paint the sides. The sides are probably the trickiest part. And be careful not to move them once you've applied the resin because it'll start to stick immediately and then it'll create like a weird type of, see what I just did there? Don't do that. Yeah, it'll create like a weird little texture, but it's fine because we're going to do the other side later. This is why I like to do the back side first because you can get your resin groove on, mess up a little bit, and then it's fine because we'll do the front side and that'll cover everything up. You know, I said I hate working with it. I don't know if hate is the right word. I don't like working with things that I have to wear gloves with. I'm not a glove person. I like getting my hands dirty. I can't help it. I love baking, you know, slapping the dough around. I like gardening. I like putting my hands in dirt. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to speed up the video and we'll go from there. All right, guys, now that I've successfully applied the resin to the back of my pieces, the backs of my pieces, I'm going to take this outside and put it in the sun for about 15 minutes. And one thing that you couldn't see on camera that I was doing is I was leaning back and trying to see how the light hit all of these pieces to see if there was any open spaces that didn't get resin on them. Sometimes it happens, it kind of goes on splotchy, but you don't notice it when you apply it. So that's what I was doing off camera that you couldn't see. So I'm now going to take these outside and put them in the sunshine. Take these sticky gloves off. Hey everybody, so I'm now outside and I'm just going to put my tray out here and I'm going to let it sit out here for 15 minutes and let the resin really seal up. And you can already see how shiny and sparkly and beautiful everything looks. It really makes a difference. If you want your pieces to look like stone, I strongly suggest going through with this step. It's not necessary, like I said, but it just takes everything to the next level. So we're gonna set our timer for 15 minutes and let these babies dry. All right, everybody. Our beautiful creations have dried wonderfully in the sun. So now we're gonna turn them over and we're gonna do the front side, okay? Don't put on your gloves and then turn them over because you're gonna get all the sticky resin on your pieces. By now, everything should be nice and dry. I actually touched the back of my pieces very gently at around 15 minutes, and then I decided to leave them an extra 10 minutes. And that'll vary depending on the day, depending on the sun, depending on where you live, depending on the universe and the gods of art. So always test everything. I'm big on testing. And if something needs more time, give it more time. It's kind of like my maturity level. At 40, it still hasn't kicked in. Who knows? Still needs time. All right, so I'm gonna put on my gloves and I'm gonna seal the other side with the resin. And this time I'm gonna be a little bit more generous with my pouring. I really want it to pour over the sides. I want that cool resin effect that happens when you really just let the resin do its thing. And what I mean by that is on the back, I was painting on the resin to spread it out, but on the front, I'm gonna just pour it on and let it go over the edges a little bit. I'm still gonna use my brush and my poker to hold and to position the resin if I need to. You know, sometimes it doesn't really flow where you want it to, but in general, I'm gonna just let the resin do its thing. Here we go. Okay. So I'm gonna spread it all out generously. I still, like I said, use my poker here to hold it in place, but I'm gonna go to the edge. I'm gonna let it flow over the edge. Now you wanna be careful you don't go too far over the edge. You wanna get right to the edge and the resin will slowly make its way over. Or it'll create this beautiful lip right towards the edge. Not really a lip, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know, it's like a magical thing. It just kind of ends. It's pretty cool. What is it called? Leveling, I think that's the word. You want to be careful that you don't generate too many bubbles when you move stuff around, when you move the resin around, like I just did now because I'm talking and I'm all excited. So I'm gonna be mindful of that. And remember to lean back and look at things from an angle to make sure that you covered every surface. Sometimes it can be difficult to see every part of the surface. Okay. There we go. See, this is a totally different application technique than the front. The front, I was just spreading it out, or the back, sorry. On the back, I was spreading it out, trying to get as much resin as much surface covered as possible with a small amount of resin, whereas here I'm going full steam ahead. Now you could go full steam ahead on both sides, you could, but I just, in the interest of saving resin, which is kind of expensive, and it took a long time to get here, at least for me. When I ordered it, it took a while to get here. So in the interest of saving time and resin, I just do the back with a paintbrush and I do the front with just the bottle and my poker. Blah, words. I feel like after quarantine, I forgot how to speak. Did that happen to anybody else? Like you go to talk and the sentence is there in your brain, and then when it comes out, it doesn't it doesn't sound anything like it sounded in your head. And you're like, wait, I know how to communicate, I swear. Okay. Oh wow, you guys. I can't wait to dry these off or to cure this resin, to cure these pieces. See, there I go with the words. I can't wait. Okay, let's try that again. I can't wait until these pieces cure and I can hold them up in the sunlight for you to see how beautiful they look. Because unfortunately, the area that I'm in, my little work studio area, is actually kind of dark for filming, so I don't think you're really seeing how beautiful everything looks. But once everything is dry and in the sunlight outside, you'll really get to see it. You'll really see what the resin does. And again, you can skip this step, but I wouldn't. This is what's going to make it look 3D. It's going to make it look professional. It also is a good protectant. You know, the resin becomes very sturdy as it dries. It gets hard. Oh, wow. These little ones are so cute. Now, I'm not a little earring person myself. I always look like I'm going to some sort of tribal ceremony. That is literally the amount of jewelry that I wear in my daily life. Big earrings, big necklaces, big rings, lots of bracelets. I mean, I probably wear 15 pounds of jewelry just to go to the grocery store. But, you know, that's my thing. But people like little jewelry pieces. They like little earrings. They like little necklaces. So whenever I make anything little, it's usually not for me. It's for somebody else or with the intent to sell it. Or it's part of a larger collection, a piece that has maybe multiple danglies off of it. Oh, I just love how these lightning bolts came out. I don't know if you guys can see how awesome these are, but they came out really cool. Ah, we got a drip. Okay. This is a good time to address what happens when you get a drip. We got a drip and a dog hair. Hold on. I see it over here. Damn dog hair. All right. So if I let this dry in the sun like this, then this lightning bolt is going to have this huge chunk of resin hanging off. So I am going to move it away from that and wipe it with a tissue. Wipe the excess with a tissue. It kind of sucks because once it starts dripping, it really doesn't stop. So this is going to be challenging to fix. Ideally, you'd want to use a Q-tip because you can just get a finer point. But I don't know where my Q-tips are. I think we ran out. Okay. Kind of fixed it. One thing to know about working with resin, like I mentioned earlier, it's very toxic. You really don't want to do any sanding after you've applied resin. You know, it's okay to peel off some of these sticky bits, some of these extra bits that are going to be hanging off of this little guy right here, but you do not want to sand this because it's going to release a lot of hazardous crap into the air. Even if you have a mask, it's just not something that I would recommend. And I'm not alone on that. That seems to be the consensus. Okay. You'll notice one thing. It's a lot faster applying it this way than with a paintbrush, right? You just got to go to the edge, be very gentle. Less is more. Okay, do a little bit, and then if you need more, you can go over it. Because honestly, I think I kind of screwed up that lightning bolt right there. There was too much on there. I'm like, honestly, I'm barely squeezing the bottle. I mean, I'm just holding it and I'm letting the resin pour out. It really is an amazing product. If you haven't used it and you've been nervous about it, this is a great way to start. Polymer Clay. It's so fun to work with. It's so versatile. The resin just works beautifully with it. Okay, I can see from this angle, I need a little bit more on this edge. Just a wee bit. There you go. And again, just to be clear, you can sand this, but it's very dangerous, so I don't recommend it. Not that you can't, it's just dangerous. Okay, everybody, now that I've applied the resin to the other side, brought it outside to this beautiful sunny deck of mine. I think it's like 80 degrees out here, really sunny. And I'm gonna let this seal off and cure the top side of my pieces. At this point, there's really nothing I can do. It's already started drying. I tried to clean up some edges. If there's something that I don't like or a spot that needs cleaning up, I'll have to do that later. Now, one of the things you'll notice is sometimes when you're applying the resin, your piece will move a little bit, and what will happen is wet resin is going to get on the underside that's already cured. And then when we lift this up in about 20 minutes, when we lift one of these pieces up, whatever got resin underneath is now going to have new wet resin. So we're going to go ahead and solve that by turning the pieces over again and letting them cure on the backside one more time. It's very common, it happens all the time, but it's not a big deal. Hey everyone. So these guys have been baking in the sun for quite a while now. I had to go out and run some errands, and if you know it's not going to rain, it's totally fine to leave them there in a safe area. But what I'm going to do now is turn them over one last time, only this time on a new sheet of paper. I actually ran out of parchment paper, so I'm going to use foil because as you can see, now we have some moist resin on the other side. So I'm going to turn them over one more time just to let that resin dry off, and then they're done. All right, guys, you can probably tell by the way the sunlight is hitting the backyard now that I have left these out for quite a long time. I actually ended up running some errands. This is a really great project to do on a weekend where you're just at home and you can leave everything outside drying. These look absolutely amazing. So tonight I'm gonna set everything up with their earring parts. If it's a necklace, I'll make a necklace, and then tomorrow I'll take them out in the morning sun and show you how beautiful these look. Hey guys, so I am at my workstation now, and I'm putting all of the earring pieces together and the necklaces together, and I wanted to point out a little trick that I use when some of the resin has gone over the edge. So I told you that it's not safe to sand it, and it really isn't because the stuff is going to get everywhere. But what I like to do is I actually like to take these little cutters right here and I like to just cut the edges off. So like you can see, if I hold up the back of this, you can see, hold on, let me focus it for you. Yeah, you can see, oops, there we go. You can see all this extra right here. If I sand that, it's going to release a bunch of crap into the air. So what I'll do is I'll just come in with my pliers and I'll just kind of cut it. You're still going to release some stuff, but it's going to be a chunk of it that you can just sweep up and put away. And then for this edge right here, I may just put on my mask and go sand it. Like I said, I don't like sanding resin, or I may just throw it away. At a certain point, you have to consider whether it's worth it to sand something like this. I really just don't like messing with resin and sanding. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that little trick that I do. So take your pliers, maybe take some really sharp scissors, and you can clean up the edges just like I'm doing now, right there. So at least you're not releasing teeny tiny little powdery particles into the air. It's just some chunks that you can sweep up later. And as you can see, by the way, these came out really beautiful. So I can't wait to show them to you tomorrow in the sunshine. Okay, everyone, we are now done making these beautiful earrings or necklaces or whatever it is you want to make using the technique that I showed you that makes everything look like stone. And of course, I like to add a little bit of flash, as I've said a couple times about putting some glitter in there. I might have put a little too much glitter in here, in this one. But I still love it. I still think it looks really pretty, and it sparkles in the sun. Come on, sun, where are you? There you go. So I just wanted to show you really quickly how I set these up for jewelry. You can see here, I didn't really add anything to these. Here's a necklace right here. I added a little Ohm sign, and then For the rest of them, I ended up adding a couple beads here and there. Lightning bolts did just fine on their own. I try to use all natural stone when I'm adding to these earrings because I think it really speaks to the look of the piece, to the look of the earrings, right? Or necklace, whatever you're making. Since it looks like stone, let's use some real stone. Here I've used some gold stone, tiger eye, white one, I forgot what it's called, and then a crystal. Oh, these are the ones I would wear. I love dangly. Here we've got natural crystals. I love these. Oops. Well, that did not perform very well for me. Turn around. Okay. But anyway, here are the moons. I love the way these turned out. How much fun are these? I just put a little light green hematite there. Look at that. Love that. So I'll go to Michael's and I'll go on a big coupon day, you know, buy one, get one half off, and I'll just buy beads. And I'll just store them, even if I don't have any need for them at the moment. I'll save them, and I know that one day I'll have something that matches in those colors. Look at these. Hearts. Celtic heart on there. All right, guys, hope you've enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please go ahead and leave them in the comments. I will be happy to answer them.